Hi, welcome to Wandering into the Woods, a podcast brought to you by the creators of Adventures with BG. I'm Linda,
And this is Jarrett.
and today we'll be telling you about our last leg of the trip in our adventure out to West Texas. We got to visit the magical city of Marfa, Texas, site of where the 1950s movie classic Giant was filmed. It had a lot of notable actors, including Elizabeth Taylor. But before we get into that, let's tell you a little bit our trip there, including our accommodations. While staying there, we stayed at El Cosmico, which is, Jared, how would you describe El Cosmico?
I'm sure it was more of what it is back before COVID, but it seems like a pretty social place.
Uh huh.
It's very hipster slash hippie kind of accommodation. It's
Mm-hmm.
old style RVs, and they've recently built yurts, and they have a couple of bunkhouses.
So these RVs are renovated, so that you have, like more modern accommodations generally, or comfortable accommodations. And you get to stay in an RV, just you and your companions. Or if you get a yurt, you and your companions stay in a yurt as opposed to your typical hotel room experience.
Yep. And we ended up staying in a large trailer, which had a outdoor shower. So it's just a small rectangle with canvas around it,
Hmm.
which gives you privacy. But it was more than enough. It rained one day, so it was nice to take a very warm shower in the rain. So that was a neat experience. I think that was Linda's first
First, what?
shower in the rain.
Not sure.
Yeah, because I said it's good. Like they feel great, like being in a hot tub or swimming pool in the rain. And you were like, no, that doesn't sound good. And you went out there and you're like, no, I really like that.
All right. So the shower situation, keep in mind especially for the large trailer, it was outdoors. So there's like a little back entrance, and what you do is they have a little bathrobe for you to grab
Yeah.
and like take your stuff out there, and you grab a quick shower. I mean, it's up to you how long, but keep in mind you're out there with the weather elements. Then you can come back in, and we had a good time staying there after our first night there, checking or during our first night there.
Well, hold on.
Uh huh.
Going back to the trailer, I think we had one of the coolest one. Ours was actually painted, and most are left in their regular color scheme.
Oh, true, true, true.
So ours was painted by the Instagram artist truck_artist. They're a Pakistani painter. They do truck art mostly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very colorful and kind of psychedelic. So it was a neat touch,
For
and
sure.
it was like the only trailer that was actually painted. So I found that to be like an added nicety to our experience.
Yeah, we were definitely peacocking out there.
Yeah. And then if you do stay in one of the smaller trailers or yurts that don't have a bathroom or shower in there, they have communal showers and bathrooms. So if that's something that you're brave enough to use, go for it. But make sure that if that's something you want to pick a trailer or an accommodation that has that built in, so you don't have to go over and share with everyone else.
Right. I imagine that would be the situation for all yurts and tents.
Yeah.
Another option, if you wanted to go the opposite way, is in the complete opposite. They have something called the Cosmic Casita, which is a limited edition collaboration between El Cosmico and the award-winning micro home builder Casita. And this is per their own website from El Cosmico. You can look at more details there. But it's essentially a big house within El Cosmico. Um, it's more modern, and it just has a bigger, more modern accommodation for those of you that decide instead, the regular or the more standard El Cosmico accommodations wouldn't fit your family's or your group's needs.
So after getting settled in, our next stop was the Water Stop, which is a fancy new American restaurant there. Since it was a weekday, there wasn't a whole lot open. Marfa is definitely a weekend town or holiday town. So finding things that were open and full swing and full service were a little bit difficult in the middle of the week. So Water Stop was open, and it was a good choice.
For sure. And again, with the keeping in mind, if you want to have more options, as far as price ranges, you definitely would want to visit on the weekend. And because what Jared and I did, we ended up going to a few places, and a lot of them were closed, and we ended up finding the
Yeah.
water stop.
Or completely like booked out for the night.
Right,
Because
right.
they were the only one. They're like, we only have reservations and we're completely booked.
Right. So we went to the water stop. It is a little bit on the pricier end of the spectrum as far as restaurants go, but their food is definitely delightful. Just we had a good time, a good relaxing evening especially after trying to find, visiting several places and trying to find where to eat. I ended up having a delicious beverage, which my mouth is watering for at this time, even as I think about it. It's called the Mystery Lights, and it is a pea blossom gin, maraschino liquor, fresh lemon, shaken and strained according to their menu. And I got it for $14. It was well worth every cent, I would say. Really, I highly recommend it. And along with my beverage, I also had the pasta rosa, which was rigatoni, pink sauce, Italian sausage, basil, parmesan, and fresh arugula for $18. Really good too. I really enjoyed my meal there. How about you, Jarrett?
Um, I had a habanero gold rush, which is just bourbon, lemon, and habanero honey. So, a little sweet, a little spicy. It was good. And then I had a French dip, which is just, a fancy sandwich that you dip into au juice. So, it was good. It's a sandwich. I don't know that, I'd pay the price again because, they seem to be pretty similar everywhere I've ever gotten one. But, it was good.
It was $19, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But definitely had a pleasant atmosphere. Really great waitress. Just had a good time.
Yep.
And after we ate and had a beverage and had spent some time talking, etc., we ended up going. Did we go back straight to? Did we go to a trailer? Or did we go straight to see the lights?
I don't know, but we went to eventually go check out the Marfa lights.
Right. We recommend that you get out there probably around sunset because people do start showing up. As soon there are a lot of people there that start showing up, and you want to get a good seat. You especially if you want to sit on the wall that's there, or you might want to take your own chairs. Definitely, I recommend taking a blanket. Even in the summer, it gets cool with the wind out there. I at least, especially when we were there, we were getting lighter temperatures, and I really enjoyed the fact that we brought a blanket. That was really helpful.
So you said all that stuff, but what are the Marfa lights?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know that anybody knows. That's
Okay.
the mystery. That's what makes them, what makes you want to get out there. I'd been wanting to go out there and see if I could see them since I was a little girl.
Yeah. So the Marfa lights are for what most people say is unknown lights. They're just in the distance. They show randomly, and they can be red, blue, or white. And they're not attributed to cars or fires or anything like that in the distance. So they're just unknown lights that are out on the horizon.
It's a mystery.
Yep. And so they go by many names. But it's the draw to Marfa. It's actually, the reason I guess it exists as a tourist location, and it fed everything else, their art scene and everything like that. But because of that, they've built, this kind of like truck stop kind of area where you go. So it's got a viewing area and restrooms and like water fountains and some snack machines and tons of parking. So they've really built it up and given you a place to view the lights where they're most commonly seen.
Yeah, definitely a good place to sit and look, at least have a good time looking at the stars.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, the best time to see them is very early in the AM, like 1 to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you got from your research?
Yes.
But yeah, we got out there after dark. I don't know, 9. No, probably because it was summer. So 10 to 11. And it was pretty packed. But within 30 minutes or so, like a good chunk of the crowd started leaving because they had kids and things. So if you want, you can go out there that early and just wait and watch. Or, if you just stay up doing other things, or if you want to wake up and go out there, apparently that's your best time to actually catch the lights.
Yeah, because unfortunately, Jared and I didn't get to see any lights while we were out there.
Yeah. Well, one of the locals said that they were car lights, the lights that we saw
Yeah.
very loudly to someone else when they got excited about it.
So, I don't know, we'll see. I guess we won't see, but, that was our experience.
Mhm.
So, our for our day, I guess our second day at Marfa, we, decided to go out there and explore, Prada at Marfa, which we found out was not actually at Marfa. You have to go out a little bit. What direction was it? West?
Yeah, 30 minutes.
30 minutes west. And we keep in mind there is no gas station on the way there or on the way back.
No.
And we'll explain why that's important, but just keep that in mind. We got there, and the installation is from the 2005 2006 collection. You can see shoes and purses, and it looks like a store like that you can walk through. It's very, I mean, the products are Prada. The shoes don't have a pair because people unfortunately broke in to steal the products in the past. Just so you know, it's all just they are Prada products, but it's more art. Just talking about consumerism and how you could theoretically crazily have purchase these expensive items out in the middle of nowhere. So really, really cool sight to see and take pictures in. Jared, what'd you think?
It's neat. The artists who created it are Elm Green and Dragset.
Uh huh.
So those are the creators. Also, on the outside, it's surrounded by a fence with someone's property, but it seems like the thing to do is to put a lock on the fence.
Meanwhile, what did Do and I see? It's somebody else that was like cleaning up the logs and all the trash around it too, right?
He was an employee. He wasn't cleaning the locks. He's leaving, but
Uh,
he was pulling things like masks and other trash that people just
yeah.
hung on there instead. So the locks stay,
Okay.
obviously, probably because they're harder to get off. But he was just taking care of trash and things that people had stuck on there.
And he was very helpful too,
Yeah.
as far as helping us make observations or things we might have missed. Like, for example, there is a mirror in the hallway of the building. So towards the very end, there's a mirror, and it looks like you could walk away or that the building like gets bigger, but you can also take a selfie from there. So very helpful, really interesting piece of art to admire. As it is a time capsule and a commentary on our society. Really, really good piece to see. On the way back, we stopped at the movie set.
No, we didn't.
Well, you're right, we didn't stop at the movie set.
Yeah, we had to go past it.
Wait, what do you mean?
We had to go past it because you didn't get gas and you were extremely low.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought we had
Nope.
okay.
You almost ran out of fuel, so we had to go back to Marfa on fumes and get gas.
I'm obviously already conveniently forgetting the course of events for that day.
Yeah.
Um, Jared and I were fortunate, after 15, 16 years with a vehicle, we went and got a new one. And I overestimated its fuel efficiency. And so I'm not as familiar with this vehicle. And I thought we had more than enough gas to go and come back. We didn't. And we had a very terrifying and unnerving ride back to Marfa. Made it to the gas station within 1 mile of gas capacity and electric charge, but we made it. We didn't run out of fuel out there, but, it did take some, lowering of our speed and just being conscious about, how we were doing out on the road, and yeah, so make sure you fill up on gas before you head out there because there are no gas stations between Marfa and the Prada installation. So we headed after filling up on gas, we went over to the site where the 1950s movie Giant was filmed.
Hmm.
And it's a movie starring Elizabeth Taylor and James Dean.
From 1956.
And so the what I haven't seen the movie myself yet. I've been meaning to, haven't gotten around to it, but it had the facade of the Riata site or mansion facade. It was at the ranch, but it's deteriorated over time. So all you really see are what looks like a uh, hall or passageway or gate entrance, but it's really what remains um, of the Riata mansion, because it was just a facade. They didn't actually build a mansion. And at this site, you can see um, like 3 or 4 giant,
It's 4.
okay, 4 giant paintings, one of James Dean and one of Elizabeth Taylor,
Mhm.
one of the Riata facade, and another one of a car being driven.
Mhm.
And they were done by the artist um, John Cerny in October 2018.
Yeah, so they're fairly new. So if you haven't been there in a while, you've probably never seen them, but they're right along the highway. So you will if you're heading out to Prada or further west.
For sure. And if you get close to the car, you can hear that a solar array playing country music by Michael Nesmith of the Monkees.
Yep. And there are signs out there that say if you call one of the landowner or one of the land stations that they'll let you out or let you drive into that area. So we didn't do that. But if you plan better, you could probably do it. And they had some old like windmills and things that look like they belonged to the property, many years ago. So if you want to go get a closer look, you can definitely do that. You just have to call the landowners and they've got that number out there for who you can talk to.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely recommend seeing this artistic piece, very creative, very present. I don't know how to describe it. Just it has a great presence. It's a great piece of art to see, I think the artist did a great job of trying to capture the feeling of the movie within just those 4 art pieces. Really recommend visiting it
Mhm.
on your way out there
Yeah, it's a short stop and easy to get to.
for sure.
And then after that, we actually, coming back into town, headed over to the old Stardust Hotel,
Ooh, yeah, we did.
which isn't really a thing anymore.
Nope.
It's closed down. They just have this old sign that says Stardust. I guess a lot of people, sky photographers, like to come out at night and get pictures of the big sky along with the Stardust sign.
Hmm.
We stopped at the day, so we just took a picture of the sign, saw the empty lot, and
Wonder what it was, whether it was ever a hotel, and
yeah.
it was in the past.
And then they had this big cube covered in shiny, like tinfoil or the stuff the balloons are made out of, like the
Yeah.
helium balloon. So it's a quick stop as well coming back into town.
So we came back into town and we ended up having a late lunch at a place called Alcampo Wine Garden and Rustic Bistro.
Except for it was the building, but it wasn't them making the food at that point. They were on vacation.
And Jared is not upset about this at all.
No, they were good, but it's not quite what we were expecting.
Right. So keep in mind sometimes, especially during the summer, it seems like some restaurant owners like to give opportunities to other chefs to grow their public, or, just to expose the public to some different cuisine.
I think it had to do with the vacation.
Yeah, I agree.
They just had friends come in and take over for a week or so while they were gone. So what we
Yeah.
got instead of El Campo was Vietnamese Filipino fusion. So it was good.
Very good atmosphere. And regardless of the food, you get a good atmosphere there. Very peaceful, a lot of greenery, uh, hummingbirds in the area, etc. Just a beautiful location. So we do recommend it. As far as having a nice place to visit and relax at, definitely Alcampo is the place to go. Film Vet was great food, but that probably won't be what you would regularly find there.
Mhm.
And then finally, we went over to the Marfa and Presidio County Museum. And there we got to see a lot of historical facts or historical artifacts of the area, including the movies that have been filmed there, which have been a lot, by the way. We
Mhm.
also get to see displays of items people have worn or used through the decades in Marfa.
Yeah. So it's got the area's geology, as well as some of the information on the Native Americans that were present, the arrival of the Spanish, the Anglo settlership, the railroad, mining, the rise of ranching, military. There was actually an airfield or an air base there. And the movie making, they've got a bunch of different galleries. It's not huge, but they do have a bunch of different galleries because it's just in an old house. And some of the items, are pretty mundane. Some letters, someone's class ring, to some of the stuff worn by the conquistadors. 300, 400 years ago. So it's got a mix of things. It's worth a stop. I believe it was donation only.
For sure. It was.
Yeah. So if you've got time in the day where you want to do something, I highly recommend going there, take a look at some of the history, give them a donation so they can stay open.
Yeah, for sure. We do recommend it. So to wrap up that day, we ended up having, again, we were running into the situation where we were on a weekday and there weren't a lot of places that were open.
Yeah. We wanted the pizza place,
Right.
but it is not open at all during the week.
Yeah, and this was a Thursday, I believe. So we ended up having some pizza from Para Llevar, which is this restaurant in Marfa that specializes in making meals that you can take. So we ended up having, we know we had at least a pepperoni pizza. We can't recall what the second one was.
Yeah.
I do remember it was delicious.
Yep. I went and picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
You can grab it from their to-go window. You can park real close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go in and order, but we ordered it online. I grabbed it to go and brought it back to El Cosmico.
Yeah, for sure. And then so we had it and had some of our favorite beverages and just had them outside and enjoyed the view, the nice cool weather that we were enjoying out in that July. And yeah, it was really delicious. Really filled the spot that evening. And anything else on the pizza, Jared?
Nope, I just remember it was good.
Yeah,
I wish they had more options, but what they had was good.
Right. And the next morning, we packed up and put everything in our vehicle and headed. And before we left, we had to stop at Marfa Burrito, which is almost right across from El Cosmico. You have to stop here.
Yeah, it is directly across the street, especially if you're on the side closest to town at El Cosmico.
I mean, right now, Jared, I'm getting hungry again just thinking about that burrito. It's cash only. It's a cash only business. Depending on which part of the Southwest or Mexico or just which part of anywhere you're from, these burritos are kind of like your classic big flour tortilla, handmade. It's giant, and you can have it with potato and egg, which is what I did. Jared, what did you have?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but it's like essentially the same thing as a taco. It's what a breakfast taco is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was very similar to a giant breakfast taco, at least for the morning.
Very delicious, good coffee. But like I said, it's cash only, so make sure you have your cash prepared.
Yeah, and since they're so big, they are fairly expensive. Like compared to a smaller, if you go to a local taco shop and you're used to paying $2 to $3, maybe $4. I think these were more around 10 to 12.
Yeah.
But, they're magnitude bigger than, your small tacos that you're going to get from your normal breakfast place.
And they're delicious.
Yeah. And they are only open 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So they're not a full day thing, breakfast and brunch. So if you're going to get them, make sure you get there somewhat early.
Yeah, highly recommend you do that. Please do yourself a favor and do that. Well, that wraps up our Marfa adventure and actually wraps up our adventures out in West Texas for the year of 2021. So if you'd like to hear more about our adventures and what we do, we are at Adventures with BG on Facebook and Instagram. Those are the letters B and G.
If you like the podcast, if you could give us 5 stars wherever you listen or in iTunes, it really means a lot to us and it helps us grow our audience.
And as always, stay safe as you wander into the woods.